Are you tired of writing the same old boring JavaScript code to build your apps? Your friends are mocking you for spending most of your time in a programming language that can't even sort arrays correctly? Do you want to get that powerful, mysterious vibe all great developers have? Well, this is your lucky day. Spend the next few minutes and find out more about Elm, a functional programming language that allows you to build the same old web apps, but in a newer, fancier manner. Okay, so all jokes aside, what's the deal with Elm and why should you care about it? Let me explain. Building scalable, maintainable web apps is usually fairly difficult. You have to think about efficient DOM updates, handling events, managing state, structuring your code, and more. Of course, it's a rather big task to do all this in plain JavaScript, so the community came up with a bunch of frameworks we can use to abstract away some of the already known problems. As a consequence, when you are building a web app these days, you will probably pick a framework like React.js, use TypeScript to have some predictability, and then add in various third-party libraries to handle basic use cases like navigation, state management, or immutability. However, at the end of the day, all these are still built on top of JavaScript, and there are various things which can go wrong in this entire stack. Elm proposes a completely different approach by providing a fully independent platform relying on a more predictable functional language that compiles to JavaScript. As you'll soon find out, there are a lot of benefits in this approach, and we'll discuss them in detail while building a basic Elm component. Let's not waste any more time and look at some code. The language itself might look a little bit weird if your background is in JavaScript, but don't worry, the learning curve is pretty lean. You can do all the basic operations you would expect, but you will gain access to some pretty useful operators as well. During this video, you'll see a pretty common pattern. Elm is learning from JavaScript's mistakes and comes with a layer of security on top of the weird little things JS is doing from time to time. For instance, doing math with strings leads to some fairly funny results in JavaScript, so Elm introduced a concatenation operator for the string type. Defining functions, especially if they have multiple parameters, might feel a little bit weird at first. Looking at the bright side though, this gives you the chance to familiarize yourself with a more functional way of writing code. There is this nice documentation page detailing function types, and, for certain, it deserves a few minutes of your time. It explains in detail the concept of partial function application, which allows you to achieve some pretty clever things. Anyhow, other than that, you have access to basic data structures such as lists, tuples, or records, so you should get a picture. All core language features you would expect are in place. Now, regarding building actual products, Elm apps usually have four main components. First, we'll need an initial modal, which is the initial state of our application. If you've spent any time in front-end development, you probably know that managing state is a fairly heated topic, and frameworks spend a lot of time and effort figuring out strategies to optimize the flow of data through web apps. Second, we'll define a type, which is a list of actions or events that can modify the state. If this concept is new to you, spend a couple of minutes reading about the Flux architectural pattern and the advantages of unidirectional data flow. In short, to avoid errors and unexpected behavior, your app state changes should be predictable. The third component in an Elm app is an update function that receives as parameters an action and the app state at a specific time and returns the new modal resulting from applying various business logic mutations. At a very abstract level, all our app business logic will live in this function. Don't worry though, there are easy ways to structure this in a dev-friendly, maintainable manner. Finally, the fourth component is a view function that accepts the modal as a parameter and returns a template which will result in our DOM. I know, this will look terrible at first, and, for me at least, this templating solution is honestly a deal breaker. So, in a container, we are adding our three inputs and a validation message. Then, we are defining some helper functions to better use our code. So this is it. We got a basic form with a couple of input fields, written in a functional manner, and following an architecture that promises more reliable, secure code. Opinions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and until next time, thank you for watching.